We have a great turnout here tonight. I think this has been the largest crowd in Teresa's history, and she's been doing it now, I think, for close to 10 years. So welcome, everybody. And I do want to thank Teresa for all her hard work. We got a great program in store for you. We're not only recognizing our own for all the great actions and heroic actions out there, but we're also recognizing several of our citizens throughout our community that have done great things. So without further ado, tonight in the audience, I'd like to recognize some of the distinguished guests here with us this evening. We have Safety Director George Speaks. If you'd stand, please. And he'll be joining us on stage here a little later. City Attorneys Rick Pfeiffer and Mike Holleran. From the Division of Fire, Fire Chief Kevin O'Connor, his wife Karen. Assistant Chief Dave Walton, his wife Amy. Assistant Chief Dave Whiting. Assistant Chief Kent Searle, his wife Gina. And Assistant Chief Rick Ballard, his wife Mona. And I have to mention my wife Leslie, who's joined me here today. I must embarrass her. We also have our medical director, Dave Kessick. Our Deputy Chief of EMS, Jim Davis. Deputy Chief of 1 Unit, Jack Reel. Retired Assistant Chief Kerry Ellis, and he has with him his daughter Stephanie. Local 67 President Joe Richard. And CWA Local 4502 President Dave McCune. And we also have Box 15 President Brett Barber. And I'd just like to explain, Box 15 is a volunteer organization that does a great service for the Division of Fire and also the neighboring fire departments. It's a total volunteer organization, and anytime we get into hot weather or we get into a large fire situation, all hours of the night, they're always out there for us. And it's, like I said, it's a total volunteer operation. So thanks again to Box 15. I'd like to have all veterans please stand and be recognized. I'd like to ask you for a few moments of silence for all of our firefighters who are on military active duty and for the ones who have given their lives for our country. Thank you very much. It's now my honor to introduce our Mistress of Ceremonies, Miss Gail Hogan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for inviting me back. This is, I think, my second time or third time. I've kind of lost track of how many times I've been here, but I appreciate the fact that you invite me again. The purpose of the awards program is to publicly recognize members of the Division of Fire and citizens of the community who have distinguished themselves through acts of heroism and/or exceptional community service above what is normally expected or required. I would like to thank the Columbus firefighters for voluntarily contributing the fund that makes this banquet and awards program possible. Without their support, we would not be here tonight to honor those members of the Division of Fire and those citizens who are deserving of these awards. I would like to introduce Fire Chief Kevin O'Connor, Chief?
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening, and welcome to the City of Columbus Division of Fire Awards Ceremony. My name is Kevin O'Connor. I'm the Fire Chief for the Columbus Division of Fire. I want to get started. Our mission with the Columbus Division of Fire is to serve our community by preventing emergencies through education and inspection, minimizing injury, death, and property destruction due to fire, natural disaster, and other emergencies, minimizing injury, death, and suffering by providing timely and effective emergency medical services. In order to accomplish our mission, every member of the Division of Fire is guided by the following values: preservation of life and property, safety, personal integrity, professionalism, and respect for others. What we are recognizing tonight are individuals who have not only accepted this mission, but have demonstrated it at the highest levels. One of the hardest things to do in the fire service is to recognize a firefighter for a job well done. The firefighter's immediate response is always, "No thanks, I'm just doing my job, just doing my job." Let's think about this, only doing our job. Well, what you will hear tonight are stories of members of the fire division, members of the public, police officers who are only doing my job, or were being human, being a mother, being a dad, being a neighbor, being a friend, being a grandmother. Yet, to outsiders to the event, we look back and say, no, you were doing more than that. You put yourself above others, or you stepped into a situation and at a level that was not required of you. You saw a need and had the ability at that very moment to do something that had not been done, would not have caused anyone to think ill will of you. In fact, it's probably what you should have done. But instead, you acted. You put the interests of someone else above yourself. Many times, these actions saved lives, decreased suffering, or offered aid that resulted in positive outcomes. Unfortunately, while the actions were gallant, sometimes the person still suffered or died. This does not in any way lessen what these individuals here tonight have done. The purpose of this program is to publicly and officially recognize the Division of Fire and members of our community who distinguish themselves by performing exceptional or conspicuously outstanding acts. We are giving many awards tonight to individuals whose action made the division better, the citizens of Columbus safer, and did so in a manner that was exemplary. These awards include the Citizens Distinguished Service Award, the Public Safety Award of Excellence, the Fire Award of Merit, the EMS Awards of Merit, and the Fire Service Distinguished Service Awards. The actions they performed required dedication and commitment at a level that can be described as outstanding and deserving of recognition. In today's climate, hero is attributed to a lot of individuals. Even in tonight's awards, we want to distinguish between outstanding performance and a hero. To me, a hero is not just a person who is revered and admired, but rather is a person who goes above and beyond by pairing those attributes with something that I think is very important, courage. And they did it in a climate of imminent danger. Courage, to me, is defined as the mental or moral strength not only to face difficulty, danger, and pain, but to venture, persevere, and withstand this danger, fear, or difficulty while attempting to accomplish a virtuous act. So tonight, we reserve our highest honors to our 11 firefighters and 3 fire officers who will be presented with the Bronze Maltese or the Silver Maltese Award. And to the 3 citizens, we are going to present with the Citizens Awards of Bravery. Because not only did their actions require dedication and commitment, but they performed those acts showing courage in the face of real danger. They placed themselves in harm's way and they acted for the benefit of someone other than themselves. All of those honored tonight have given Columbus a very special gift. That special gift is the willingness and unselfishness to go above and beyond the expected and put others above themselves. For that, on behalf of the 1,540 members of the Columbus Division of Fire and the City of Columbus, we want to publicly say thank you. Your efforts are recognized. You have set the example for everyone across the country, within our organization, and into the future, and we thank you. You're what make the Columbus Division of Fire and the City of Columbus a great place to live. Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce Public Safety Director George Speaks, who will speak.
Tonight is my favorite night of the year in public safety. I am always incredibly uplifted after this night. And it culminates for me a wonderful, wonderful week. We have the Buckeye win on Saturday, the Bingo win on Sunday, a very good council meeting on Monday night, a budget submittal for public safety of over $500 million on Tuesday, and last night, a surprise 50th birthday for me, which featured an 80 music trivia questions. So the first table that can answer the question I missed last night will receive some of my very mean gifts of Geritol and Depends. So are you ready? The year, name the song. The year is 1984. The movie is Footloose. The singer is Bonnie Tyler. The lyrics are, gotta be strong, gotta be fast, gotta be fresh from the fight. The song is, I Need a Hero. Well, tonight, you will meet heroes. Heroes who've saved or tried to save lives. Heroes who have placed their life in peril trying to save others. And unsung heroes, folks who do administrative functions, behind the scenes functions that enable our heroes to go out and do those great deeds. In the words of 1984 words of Bonnie Tyler, through the wind and the chill and the rain and the storm and the floods, I can feel heroes approach like the fire in my blood. Gail, please have our heroes approach to be recognized. We thank you on behalf of your city. We thank you on the Department of Public Safety and the Division of Fire. We thank you, our heroes.
Gentlemen, we will begin this evening's program by recognizing those members of the community who are being presented with the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Award for Bravery. This is awarded to citizens who distinguish themselves by performing heroic acts involving hazard to life or great personal danger while saving or attempting to save a life. When your name is announced, please come to the stage and receive your award as I read your story. Citizens Jeremy Brown, Ben Danzig, and Kelly Mallett. On the night of February 8th, 2015, Genesys ambulance employees, EMT Ben Zandig, paramedic Jeremy Brown, and nurse Kelly Mallett were traveling back to Zanesville when they came upon a fiery crash on Interstate 70 between 270 and South Hamilton Road. The driver of a Jeep had lost control, crossing the median and crashing through the wire guardrail, striking a support pole used for the highway sign and catching fire on impact. Come on up, guys. Pulling off to the side and grabbing a fire extinguisher, paramedic Brown tried to extinguish as best he could, so at least EMT Danzig was able to reach over the guardrail where the Jeep was lodged and was able to drag one of the 4 victims out. As they were pulling out of the vehicle, they realized there were other victims inside. Nurse Mallett administered patient care until medic crews arrived. 2 of the 4 women involved in that crash did not survive. EMT Ben Danzig and paramedic Jeremy Brown were commended for their actions and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Award for Bravery. And nurse Kelly Mallett is awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. All 3 are with us tonight, and congratulations to you. A round of applause. Our Our next award of the evening is the Citizens Distinguished Service Award, and this award is given to citizens other than members of the fire service who have distinguished themselves by performing acts or duties in a manner deemed to be above that is normally required and sufficient to set them apart from their peers. When I call your name again, please make your way to the stage. Citizen Lisa Arthur. On the morning of July 1st, 2015, Engine and Medic 22 crews and EMS 11 were dispatched to 4066 Swallowfield Street on a cardiac arrest. Upon arrival, they found a woman giving CPR on a 3-month-old infant male who was not breathing and had no pulse. Crews took over care, evaluated, and confirmed the infant was not breathing and still no pulse. CPR with compressions and ventilation and valve mask and supplemental oxygen were initiated while en route to Children's Hospital. CPR was continued with IV therapy before shortly arriving at the hospital, and a pulse was felt. There were no spontaneous respirations, so ventilation was continued. And later that day, Station 22 crews were informed that the patient, the 3-month-old infant male grandson of the woman first giving CPR under the calm and professional instruction of Fire Alarm Office firefighter Brent Edwards, had returned to normal cardiac and respiratory function. Everyone's efforts this day are commended, as this successful outcome directly impacted the life of the infant. Citizen Lisa Arthur is commended for her life-saving action and is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Citizens Distinguished Service Award. She could not be here tonight, but will the following EMS members please stand to be recognized? EMS Captain Scott Crummell, Lieutenant Philip Biggs, firefighters Timothy Alwine, Brent Edwards, Mark Evans, Mike Napier, Brock Stonerock, and Christopher Schwartz, and they've received the EMS Award of Merit. Congratulations to you all. Citizens Robin Bennett and Alicia Martinson. On April 1st, 2015, employees Robin Bennett and Alicia Martinson were participating in the Grange Insurance Volleyball League at Berliner Park when fellow employee Linda Wilhelm collapsed without warning. Both Robin and Alicia responded immediately without hesitation, assessing the non-responsive, pulseless coworker. CPR was immediately started while someone ran to retrieve an AED. After supplying the AED and being advised to shock, the defibrillation was given and CPR was continued until signs of respirations occurred. Engine 3, Medic 10, and EMS 11 arrived to take over patient care. Due to the quick and calm actions of Robin and Alicia, Linda's chance for survival would have diminished with each passing minute. Making a full recovery, she is able to be here with us tonight. So Linda, will you please stand? Yay, Linda. And citizens Robin Bennett and Alicia Martinson are also here, commended for their life-saving actions and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations to you. You're going to see a series, I think, of things that sound vaguely familiar as I go through these distinguished list of citizens here. Teresa Carlisle and Heidi Nance are next. On April 23, 2015, Heidi Nance and Teresa Carlisle were riding down East Broad, approaching the Woodlands of Columbus, a multiple occupancy nursing care facility, when they observed fire coming from an outside air conditioning unit. Stopping their car, they knocked on windows until reaching their front door, where they were met by staff members who then called 911. Grabbing a fire extinguisher, they ran back outside to fight the fire until fire crews arrived. Their actions kept the fire from spreading and causing more damage to the property and lives of the patients inside. Citizens Heidi Nance and Teresa Carlisle were commended for their actions and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Citizens Distinguished Service Award. Both are here, and we thank you for being here tonight, and congratulations. Citizens William Starr and Dr. David Greenberg. On May 22, 2015, Engine 2, Medic 8, and EMS 11 responded to Nationwide Children's Hospital's research facility at 575 Crossroads to find a 49-year-old man in cardiac arrest. The patient had been complaining of intermittent chest pain since early that morning and just prior to his collapse. Dr. David Greenberg was attending a seminar at the facility when he heard a crash, and looking over, he saw the instructor lying on the ground. He ran to the front desk to alert someone to call 911 and ran back to the patient to find that the patient not breathing and had no pulse. He administered 2 rescue breaths and began CPR. Unsure of how long he had been doing CPR before security specialist Bill Starr arrived with an AED, he applied the AED, analyzed him, and a shock was advised. Bill took over compressions, and following the instructions on the AED, a second shock was advised. EMS crews then arrived to take over patient care. Due to Dr. Greenberg's and Bill Starr's life-saving actions, Mr. William Ray made a full recovery and is back at work. Dr. David Greenberg and William Starr are commended for their actions and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations to both of you. Citizen Ryan Murphy. While working at the Jesse Owens North Rec Center on September 3rd, Citizen Ryan Murphy observed a young man collapse without warning on the basketball floor. Rushing to his aid, he determined the young man was not breathing and had no pulse. Ryan called for help and had an AED brought to his side, starting CPR. The AED advised a shock, and then he started CPR again. 2 minutes later, the AED assessed the young man, and another shock was advised. Ryan repeated the action when Engine and Medic 13 crews and EMS 13 arrived. They were flawlessly able to take over treatment and transport the young man to the hospital. The quick thinking and outstanding care Citizen Ryan Murphy provided was instrumental in the positive outcome of the young gentleman who is with us tonight. Will Hamza Khan please stand? I believe you are here. Yes, no? Citizen Ryan Murphy is commended for his actions and has hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. He could not be with us tonight. But will EMS 13 Lieutenant Jeffrey Blair and members of the Engine and Medic 13 please stand? Lieutenant Tyler Heistramp, firefighters Andrew Bardanowski, Ryan Burt, Jeffrey Evans, Timothy Penhorwood, and Jared Wadsworth. They've all received the EMS Award of Merit. Congratulations to all of you. Quarterly, the division's Firefighter of the Month program is presented by the Insurance Professionals of Columbus and the Central Ohio National Safety Council. And Walter Rundin, Jr. became the executive director of the Central Ohio National Safety Council in 1998. He attended his first presentation at Fire Station 14 in June and remembers that there was an Elias impersonator at the awards. Does that mean it's supposed to be Elvis? I believe. I'm like, who's Elias? I think you forgot the V. You would remember that. He really enjoyed being there, and since then has not missed a presentation where he presented a certificate from the National Safety Council to the recipient of the Firefighter of the Month. We are sorry to hear that he has announced his retirement, and his office will be disbanded and absorbed by the national office. His dedication over the years in recognizing the efforts of our firefighter is to be commended, and he is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations to you. Remember I said there would sort of be a theme in the citizens? Well, here's another one. Keith Sneed. On July 22nd, Engine 1, Medic 1, and EMS 13 arrived at the Limbach Company at 822 Cleveland Avenue to find their safety manager, Keith Sneed, performing CPR on a coworker. He had already attached an AED and delivered 3 defibrillations. At this point, the patient had regained spontaneous respirations with a strong pulse, and medics quickly transported him to Grant Medical Center, where he made a full recovery. Citizen Keith Sneed, who was also a volunteer firefighter for the Porter Kingston Fire District in Delaware County, is commended for his life-saving actions and is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. He is here with us tonight. Thank you. Congratulations to you. And also Mr. Lowell Thomas, if you could stand so we could recognize you as well, if you're here. Thank you. Before I announce the conclusion of this awards, I just have to say that it is so heartwarming for me to hear these stories, as I too was saved by my coworkers giving me CPR back in 1988. We had no such things as AEDs. We didn't have medics at every fire station, and yet I'm here today thanks to people like retired Assistant Chief Carrie Ellis, DeFrancesca. Mike, I know it was your uncle. His name escapes me right now. I remember those faces looking at me when I woke up. But it does warm my heart to know that the awareness of CPR being performed by regular citizens and bystander CPR is actually making a difference in saving lives. And I know I've been working on that for decades, and I think that we're finally getting the message out there. So continued good work to all of you, and thank you again. So as we conclude our Citizens Awards, our next category is the newly created Public Safety Award of Excellence. And this award is presented to those members of public safety, police, fire, EMS, civilian dispatchers, who are not members of the Columbus Division of Fire, who performed in an exceptional manner during an emergency or non-emergency situation, making an impact on the lives of others. The first award, Columbus Police Officers Gregory McCall and Stephen Warwick. In the early morning of March 18th, Columbus Division of Fire Officer Greg McCall recognized that his partner was in crisis, immediately calling for EMS and starting bystander CPR, along with the help of the next arriving officer, Stephen Warwick. With a quick response from Engine and Medic 7, early defibrillations were given and there was a return of spontaneous circulation. The patient was treated and transported to OSU Main Hospital with great care, respect, and professionalism by all. Officers Gregory McCall and Stephen Warwick are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Public Safety Award of Excellence. They are here tonight and we congratulate them. Thank you. Also, their partner is here tonight, Mark George. If Mark is here and he could stand also to be recognized. And Engine and Medic 7 members, please stand up to be recognized from your seats. Captain Kevin Mounts, firefighters Kevin Barth, Michael Best, Jeb Johnson, Chad Nicodemus, Scott Peer, Brian Wilson, and EMS 13 Stephen Sigwart. They have all received EMS Award of Merit Commendations. Congratulations to you. Thank you all. Marysville firefighter Mike Montgomery and Columbus firefighter Robert Kelly. Off-duty Marysville firefighter Mike Montgomery was driving in the area of Morse Road and I-71 when he came across a vehicle accident with Columbus police on the scene. Stopping by to help, CPD officer Connor and off-duty Columbus firefighter Bob Kelly, who were removing the victims from the vehicle, checking his vital signs, confirming he did not have a pulse and was not breathing. Officer Connor administered chest compressions while firefighters Kelly and Montgomery rechecked his vitals and maintained his airway. After they were able to get a pulse, he was able to be transported to Riverside Hospital. The patient passed away 16 hours later. However, the family was extremely grateful for their efforts in attempting to save his life and allowing them an opportunity to say goodbye to him at the hospital before his passing. Columbus firefighter Robert Kelly is commended for his off-duty actions and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. And off-duty Marysville firefighter Michael Montgomery is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Public Safety Award of Excellence. Congratulations to you. I would also like to acknowledge Marysville Battalion Chief Jim Strayton. Please stand and thank you for being there on behalf of firefighter Montgomery. Thank you. And now we would like to recognize those members of the Columbus Division of Fire who are receiving EMS Award of Merit and the Fire Service Award of Merit. The EMS Award of Merit is presented to individuals, groups, or companies who, in the opinion of an EMS supervisor, but in collaboration with an assistant chief, deputy chief, or battalion chief, have exhibited care and consideration during an emergency medical situation beyond which is normally chain of command and feels normally expected of them. This year, 59 members will receive the EMS Award of Merit. The Fire Service Award of Merit is an award given to fire, rescue, or emergency medical companies, as well as other division groups or individuals who, in the opinion of an assistant chief, deputy, or battalion chief, have performed in a manner that is beyond what is normally expected of them. This past year, 37 individuals were recommended for this award for acts ranging from heroism at fire scenes and outstanding work on their unit. When I call out your names, please stand from your seats to be recognized as I briefly read your scenario. Number 1, Unit Engine and Medic 16. Unit crew members Lieutenant James Lorenz, firefighter Sean Klipner, Daniel Greiner, Zach McGee, Jason Marshall, Joseph Spann, Sean Trees, and Dylan Ulrey for outstanding emergency medical service on February 21st at 754 Edgar Place when responding to a 59-year-old male with chest pains. Upon assessment, the patient was having an acute myocardial infarction and transported to the awaiting cath lab for removal of a clot and a stent placed. Also that same day, in response to Cleveland and Lakeview Avenues on a 4-year-old child struck and thrown by a truck, unresponsive with trauma, immobilized, and rapid transport to the hospital was imminent, and staff alerted awaiting their arrival. Congratulations to you all. Next, Engine 21, Medic 21, unit crew members, Lieutenants Aaron Rucker, Johnny Temple, firefighters Simon Bonrigo, Timothy Brintliner, Daniel Kaufman, Jonathan Frederick, Philip Page, Trent Spellman, Douglas Tibbs, and Michael Wallane. For outstanding fire service response on January 4th at 287 Mayfair Boulevard, and it was an apartment fire with a victim. Congratulations to you all. Unit 1 unit members, Lieutenant Larry J. Harrow, firefighters Scott Highfill, Brandon Lauk, Andrew Leiter, and David Long for their outstanding fire service response to a vehicle fire with a victim on October 16th on Main Street and No Bixby Road. Congratulations to you. This also includes Medic 5 firefighter Stephen Chapman, Shane Heil, and Medic 23 firefighter Travis Floyd, receiving an EMS Award of Merit for their role in this incident. Congratulations to you. Engine and Ladder 26, unit crew members, Captain Arnold Murdoch, Lieutenant Michael Fields, firefighters Jay Mann, Gregory Reinhard, David Shannon, David Spellman, Dylan Ulrey, and Jeffrey Urian for their outstanding fire service response to a working fire with a victim on January 10th at 2202 Jasper Lane. This includes the Medic 26 firefighters William Compton and Edgar Rivera, receiving an EMS Award for Merit for their roles in this incident. Congratulations to you. Ladder 1, 2 unit crew members, Captain James Lewis, firefighters Brian Barrick, Roland Hines, Pete Hines, Timothy Wyckoff, for their excellent fire service response when assisting in the evacuation of the Levesque Towers on June 1st. Congratulations to you. Medic 1, 2 unit firefighters Gregory Allen and Rodney Parcell for their outstanding emergency medical care on April 23rd at 5728 Allenby Avenue. Congratulations to you. Engine crew members, Lieutenant Christopher Kennedy, firefighter Scott Slatinsky, firefighter Kenneth Weyer, Rescue 4 crew member George Robach, Engine 27 crew member firefighters Michael Woods, Ladder 1 crew member firefighter Roland Hines, Engine 32 crew members Lieutenant Brian Conway, firefighter Jeffrey Hodge, Ladder 32 crew member Lieutenant Richard Hayes, firefighters Harry Bebout, James Kraniak, Dennis Primer, and Rick Wagner for outstanding fire service response to a one-story wood frame working fire with a victim February 4th on Fleet Road. Also included in this, Engine 4 firefighter Jared Sailing, Engine 20 firefighter Brian Allen, and Engine 32 firefighter Christopher LaCosla for outstanding emergency medical service at this incident. Our congratulations to you. EMS 14 Lieutenant Jeffrey Shaw, Engine 21 and Medic 8, 2 unit crew members, Lieutenants Brian Bishop, Bill Jackson, firefighters Joshua Bishop, James Ferris, Daniel Matisse, Glenn Tucker, and John Wyneck for outstanding emergency service on December 27th at 218 South Chesterfield on a pedestrian struck, finding an elderly woman pinned under a vehicle in her driveway. After extraction of the woman, she was transported to the hospital. And Madeline Fields, she may be here tonight, the victim, and I don't know if she is, but if she is, she might stand as well. Thank you all. Congratulations. Three-unit EMS 14 Lieutenant Stephen Harold and Medic 5 firefighters Glenn Cecil and Thomas Lascola for outstanding emergency medical service on May 30th at Dover Road Pond for a possible Ebola patient requiring medical attention and transporting to the hospital. Congratulations to you. Medic 6, 3-unit firefighters Graham Sleet for outstanding emergency medical service while voluntarily observing a heart catheterization case when the patient went into VFib arrest. He jumped into action to assist, resulting in a successful positive outcome for that patient. Congratulations to you. Engine 28, 3-unit Lieutenant Brian Bonhart, firefighters Christopher Boso and John Guroy, I think, for outstanding emergency medical service on August 16th, Emory Club Way, providing CPR and immediate transportation to the cath lab. Congratulations to you. The following are recipients of the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. This is awarded to individual members of the division for their commendable performance, acts, or duties, or for efforts expended in materially contributing to the success of fire safety, fire prevention, or community relations programs. Captain Alexander Sundberg. Willingly filling the vacant position of Battalion Chief in the Support Services Bureau, Captain Sundberg has aggressively adapted to this role, spending long hours and putting forth tremendous effort, going above and beyond what is expected of this role. He has taken personal ownership in the continual upkeep and maintenance of fire stations, facilities, and apparatus. During the current carpet replacement project underway at the fire complex, Captain Sundberg has saved the division hundreds of dollars in furniture moving costs that have now been used to purchase additional carpet and therefore making the most of the funding allotted for the project. He has taken it upon himself to stay after hours and in many cases works by himself, moving furniture in and out of offices. When I move, will you come to my house? You're like a one-man moving van. He is to be commended for his dedication and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations to you. Lieutenant James Moore. It was the last day of Lieutenant Jim Moore's family vacation in Cancun when his life-saving actions took place. He and his family were sitting in the lobby waiting for airport transportation and knew it would be a while, so he decided to take one last walk, and he decided to take that walk around the resort. Exiting the lobby and going right instead of his usual route, he was passing the resort pool. He saw 3 or 4 young boys dragging an even younger boy through the water, yelling, "He won't wake up." A member of the resort staff who was already in the water pulled him to the edge while Lieutenant Moore reached down, pulling the child onto the pool deck, checking his airway, breathing in circulation, suspecting cardiac arrest. Instructing the staff member to call 911, he began chest compressions as well as trying to control the crowd to calm them down. Not sure how long he administered compressions before a vacationing pediatrician from Chicago came forward, wanting to know how to help. He assigned her to the airway while he continued compressions. However, the child was still not breathing. Placing the child on his side and administering back blows, water began to come from the child's mouth as he experienced seizure-type activity, becoming combative and screaming. Keeping the boy on his side to protect him from the seizure, a lifeguard arrived to also help. By this time, the child had a good pulse while the lifeguard checked his blood pressure. Had Lieutenant Jim Moore turned left that morning, a second chance at life for that 4-year-old boy may not have happened. Lieutenant Jim Moore is commended for his life-saving actions and is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Congratulations to you. Captain Lauren Peck, firefighters Timothy Dorsett, Stephen Higginbottom, Jeffrey Richards, and Communications Civilian Brian Lee. Launching a new national electronic incident reporting system on July 7th, called Firehouse, was the work of those named individuals who spent countless hours from beginning to end. Replacing an older electronic system plagued with costly accountability issues with completed tracking compliance, they first had to set up a system making it user-friendly. Followed by developing training programs and instituting training classes division-wide, they spent nights and weekends going to fire stations, helping members learn the system prior to implementation. Had it not been for all of their efforts throughout this whole process, implementation would not have been successful. Captain Loren Peck, firefighters Timothy Dorsett, Stephen Higginbottom, and Jeffrey Richards and Cornell Lewis are commended for their efforts, and they're hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Communications Division Civilian Brian Lee is commended for his efforts as part of this team and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Citizens Distinguished Service Award. Firefighters Lewis and Higginbottom are here tonight. Congratulations to you. Lieutenant Brian Bishop, firefighters Benjamin Funk, Tiffany Page, Marvin Robertson, Tricia Sachs, Carrie Schaefer, Warren Spear, and Robert Six. These individuals served on the division's honor guard and have consistently shown a positive attitude and are always prepared and eager to accept assignments and have performed in a manner bringing honor and respect to the division and the honor guard. They are hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Any of these named members please come to the stage. Another round of applause for our award winners. Our next presentation is the Fire Chiefs Award, which is to allow formal recognition of deserving fire service individuals, groups, or companies from the fire chiefs level. This year, for the first time, the division is publicly recognized as a civilian division employee who has shown exemplary individual achievement, outstanding work ethic, and commendable act or acts which are deemed to be above and beyond normally expected or required. Carla Short, EMS Education Manager. Carla has a cheering section. Carla works constantly to improve the EMS education of the division. Through her leadership and guidance, vast improvements have been made in the paramedic training program and EMS continuing education. Putting a great deal of effort into pursuing national accreditation allows the division to keep the paramedic initial certification training program. Without this, the division would be forced to send students to other programs to obtain their certification. In addition, she has acted on suggestions of previous students, educators, and outside sources to make the paramedic program more palatable for division members. Carla consistently strives to improve her educational, managerial, and leadership abilities through academics and national training seminars. She's regarded as a national expert on the topic of EMS. Carla obtained her master's degree in education and is currently pursuing her PhD. She regularly implements techniques she learns in the classroom to improve the working environment and productivity of her staff. More importantly, she employs the means to make students more successful in the classroom and ultimately better EMS providers. For this, she is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire Chiefs Fire Award as the Civilian of the Year. Congratulations, Carla. Next is a special tribute tonight for former Fire Chief Don Warner for 38 years of service from 1953 through 1991, and as Fire Chief from 1984 to 1991. This award is presented to his family for his dedication and service to the Division of Fire and the citizens of Columbus. His commitment and devotion to his family, the Division of Fire, and especially the south side of Columbus will always be remembered. Fire Chief Warner passed away on February 22nd, accepting on behalf of the family as his son, Aaron Warner. And Aaron, I'd like to say I worked with your father for many years as a reporter and anchor, and he was a wonderful man, and I'm glad that he's being honored this evening. The third highest award is the Bronze Maltese, awarded to active members of the Division of Fire who, acting in the highest traditions of the fire service, bringing distinction upon themselves and to the division by exhibiting extraordinary bravery or courage in the performance or acts or duties, the level of which exceeds that is normally required or expected. Fire Investigations firefighter Frank Mike DeFrancesco. In October, while assigned to the Fire and Explosives Investigative Unit, firefighter Mike DeFrancesco was contacted by Columbus homicide detectives after they learned that a pregnant female who had been missing for several days had once lived at a residence that had recently been destroyed by fire. While conducting the investigation of the incident, firefighter DeFrancesco went to the suspect's parents' home in Delaware County at their request and spoke with the suspect. During the interview, the suspect confessed he had killed the female and had intentionally set the residence on fire. He further confessed to burying the missing woman and directed investigators to her body, located in a field in Groveport. Without the skills and abilities possessed by firefighter DeFrancesco, this confession may have never been obtained and the body of the female may not have been located. His willingness to expose himself to great risk of his personal safety and his compassion to help the family find their missing daughter is to be highly commended. Firefighter Frank Mike DeFrancesco is hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Bronze Maltese Award. Congratulations, Mike. Concluding with the second highest award given, which is our highest award for this evening, the Silver Maltese. The Silver Maltese is awarded to active members of the Division of Fire who distinguish themselves by performing acts of gallantry in the face of great personal danger or hazard to life, with knowledge of the risks involved above and beyond the call of duty. Captain Jeffrey Doom, Lieutenant Richard DePasquale, Lieutenant Brian Cyril, firefighters Troy Brumfield, David Long, Daniel Paxton, David Reynolds, Kenneth Brookhard, Alexander Santavica, David Scholl, Jonathan Singleton, Roderick Stewart, and Daniel Weinsar. On June 1st, A passerby saw flames coming from a single-family house at 828 Groveport. They called 911 and Madison Township Engine 182 arrived to help find the home fully engulfed with fire and the attached garage also engulfed. Fire was also billowing out at both the A and C sides and the front door on the A side. The occupants were awakened by smoke detectors and went running to find their 2 children sleeping in their bedroom. 2 adults, 1 4-year-old, and an infant made it out. However, 2 other people were trapped in the basement. Calling 911 from their cell phones and talking with dispatchers, John McComas, the female victim, and Michael Wire with the male victim, giving them instructions to close the bedroom door, cover it with wet towels, to stay low, and cover their mouths with wet towels. They also instructed them to stay together and yell out to firefighters when they heard them coming into the basement. Both dispatchers gathered information pertaining to their exact location to relay back to firefighter Don James, who in turn gave the updated information on the fireground channel to all incoming fire companies. Both dispatchers continued to instruct and guide the victims until they both went unconscious. Engine, ladder, and Medic 32 arrived at the scene. Engine 32 Lieutenant Richard De Pasquale made the decision to cut a hole in the side of the home under the window to gain entry into the basement. He and firefighter Jonathan Singleton proceeded cutting with chainsaws as there were no basement windows. There was fire coming from the attic on the D side above their heads. Firefighter Darren Morehart acquired the water supply and operated the pump while firefighter Roderick Stewart set up the quick attack and began knocking down the fire and protecting the exposure on the B side where the siding was already melting. Ladder 32 Lieutenant Brian Cyril, firefighters David Long and Alex Santavica brought tools and saws to the D side to assist in cutting the holes. After breaching the wall, work was started on cutting the floor to gain access to the basement. This was a slow process due to an angle iron, a gas line, and a water line running across where they wanted to cut. Saws began to dull and getting jammed up with wires and carpeting. Fresh saws kept coming to replace them. Firefighter Stewart cut through the water pipe to enlarge the hole. Firefighter Santavica started on the D side under the other window to gain basement access. Lieutenant Cyril was injured by falling ceiling, hurting his back, but continued to work. As the holes were being cut, firefighter Christopher Perkins assisted with water supply for the engines, made sure tools, ladders, and lights were deployed. With a small hole made on the D side, Lieutenant DePasquale, firefighters Troy Brumfield, Dave Long, Ken Ruckard, and Dan Weisner entered the hole into the basement. Firefighter Long injured his arm and shoulder by falling into the sump pump hole. However, he continued on despite the pain. Ladder 23 crew, Captain Jeff Doom, firefighters Dave Paxton, Dave Reynolds, and Dave Scholl entered the home through the front door, along with members from Engine 182. Firefighter Mickey Shepard was busy bringing tools, saws, and equipment to the D side. Ladder 23 crew encountered heavy smoke conditions in the basement with limited visibility until firefighter Dave Scholl broke through the bedroom door and found both victims hugging face to face with their cell phones still illuminating. Both victims were both unconscious. They were rescued up the basement stairs using an attic ladder. Once outside, Medic 32 firefighters Tom Stanley and Jeff Couch administered medical treatment to the female victim en route to the hospital. She did start breathing again and regaining pulses. She was released from the hospital 4 days later. The male victim was brought out of consciousness and was transported by Medic 181. Lieutenant Brian Cyril was transported to the hospital by Medic 15 and was off work for 2 weeks. Firefighter Dave Long was off in recovery for 2 months. For their outstanding work and life-saving actions, and I'm going to read their names again, Captain Jeffrey Doom, Lieutenant Richard De Pasquale, Lieutenant Brian Cyril, firefighters David Long, Daniel Paxton, Kenneth Ruckard, Alexander Santavica, Dave Scholl, Jonathan Singleton, Roderick Stewart, Daniel Weinser, and hereby awarded the Columbus Division of Fire's Silver Maltese Award. We're also asking firefighters William Barber, Donald James, John McComas, Darren Morehart, Christopher Perkins, Mickey Shepard, and Michael Weir to come to the stage for their actions, hereby awarding them the Columbus Division of Fire's Distinguished Service Award. Along with firefighters Jeffrey Couch and Thomas Stanley for their actions, hereby awarding them the Columbus Division of Fire's EMS Award of Merit. Congratulations to all of you. That's quite a story, gentlemen, and women. If there were any in the group, I don't think I did read any women's names, but I have to tell you that when it's stories like that, that's what our citizens can count on you for, and we appreciate it very much. This concludes the awards presented tonight, and now I'd like to introduce again the Awards Committee Chair, Assistant Chief Jim Cannell, for closing remarks. Chief, take it over.
Well, again, this concludes our program. Thank you very much for coming out. And I have a couple thank yous here that I'd like to go over. Thank you to Fire Chief O'Connor, Director Speaks, Lieutenant Knocktraub, great job earlier, great job helping us prepare for this. The Columbus Honor Guard, as always, you guys do an excellent job. Columbus Police and Fire Pipes and Drums. I could probably argue with OSU and say that maybe we have the best damn band in the land. I'm not sure, but I'll put them right up there. Mayor Coleman and his staff, Councilman Zach Klein, members of the Awards Committee, 1, 2, and 3 unit. You guys are constantly coming down. You're helping us out at the last minute. You know, sometimes I know Teresa gets you guys together, I think, once a week. And I know it's not always easy to get down there and meet with us, but you guys help us make this happen. So excellent job. Jim Patterson, could you stand? Oh, you're already standing. He's the guy that's kept me online. All right? Jim works behind the scenes and does an excellent job. Mark Bevilacqua, Craig Huffman, for setup tonight. And I've seen these guys in my office the last couple weeks sorting through all these awards, helping Teresa get things signed, bugging me to sign things left and right. So great job behind the scenes and great job ushering tonight. Also, Sam Towns came here at the last minute to help us with some ushering. Division photographer, Nick Calderon, CTV staff members, Evan and Carlos, who we're videotaping tonight. And this is also, if I'm not mistaken, it's gone live on City TV viewing for tonight. Staff here at Villa Milano, thank you very much. I know we make a lot of last minute adjustments, and you're very flexible, and we thank you for that. The volunteers at the registration desks that helped us out here tonight, Teresa's assistants. And last but not least, thank you, Teresa. She gets so stressed out after this. Of course, I asked her earlier, Teresa, you going to be at work tomorrow? She's like, absolutely not. I'm going to Las Vegas. Have a good time. Thank you, Teresa. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. I know how hard you work. And when we had 375 people here tonight versus 225 last year and stuff like that, all of a sudden we're pretty much doubling our capacity. So excellent job. Thank you. And last but not least, Gail Hogan. Thanks again this year for excellent job. And to end the ceremony tonight, I'll call Father Conley back up to the podium. Please stand and we'll bow our heads.
Let us pray. Lord, once again, we thank you for the many blessings that you share with us in many ways. We thank you for the blessings that you shared with so many through those we have honored tonight, who thought of others more than self, and indeed dedicated themselves to their neighbor, who they saw as more important than themselves. As we go forth from here, may we be re-inspired by the stories that we have heard this evening from so many, those in the Columbus Division of Fire, other public service organizations, and our brother and sister citizens, so that we may indeed be your faithful servants and be the people that you have called us to be. May we know that we are never alone. Your presence is shared through the presence of our brothers and sisters who help us in so many ways. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Thank you very much. Have a safe trip home.